Now, what are some of your feelings as like the film's been getting more and more buzz that, for every one site that kind of says, this is a great documentary, you've got 2 or 3 sites that are already attacking it. What are your thoughts on that? Because, it's kind of our culture to tear things down that we love. But what's your feelings on that now that that's starting to become almost like a problem?
It's kind of tough because it's just a small movie that basically we just made. I mean, the 2 of us and Henry and Zach, and it was just tiny, low budget. And I didn't ask for people to just start tearing us apart or attacking us. It seems that the people who attack it don't necessarily not like it, which is good. So then again, I step back and I'm like, well, maybe controversy's okay. As long as people are talking about it. We didn't make the movie to make millions of dollars or become famous or anything. We just want to start a conversation about social networking and about contemporary communication. So if they get caught up in the real or fake thing, I hope that just means that gets them to see it and gets other people to see it, and then they'll realize that that's not the conversation at all.
Yeah.
That there's a whole lot more to talk about.
So people want to see it for themselves just to find out, what they think. And I think you hit the nail on the head with that right there, is that people identify with it so much, or they see so much of themselves up on the screen that they want to know, is it real, and they kind of want to find out whether it's not. Speaking of that, what do you think the film says about our plugged-in culture that we have? And because I think the one thing you guys hit on the film dead on is how we use technology, like how you use GChat. Yeah. What do you think the statement of the film is on our plugged-in culture?
Well, for me, I think it says a lot about how, the internet's become the primary resource for our generation for research and for information, and we trust it for the most part. And so, for me, what the big concern is there is this sort of inherent trust in what we see online, and people don't stop to think about how easily, especially with the internet, one thing gets reinterpreted by one person, and then 10 people reinterpret that, and by the time it gets to you, it's gone through like a house of mirrors. And so even though it started with something real, perhaps, it's now changed and morphed and become something else.
Like telephone.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's hard to remember constantly and to remind yourself that what you see online isn't necessarily the original truth or fact. In fact, it's almost always some version of that. And I hope people are just become more aware of that and spend a little bit more time following up or researching things that they are interested in to make sure that one story matches another. Because it's easy to get excited about something or see a video on YouTube that looks like a real thing and say, oh my God, look at this crazy thing. And then of course weeks later you find out that it wasn't real. But at the time it felt real because, that we're sort of trained to take things seriously when it comes to them being published on the internet.
Yeah. And
a lot of this in that sentence. Sorry.
No. And that brings me to the next point. A couple of the things that people are seeming to see that they say are the inconsistencies, if you will, are the MP3 for Downhill. That they're saying that the site that was on was created after the film was supposedly made. I didn't see. I tried to research that myself.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
That's interesting, actually, because since that scene, I wanted to go back and reshoot that because it's a slightly out of focus, and I can't find that site that hosted that.
Well, Songza has turned into more of
no, not Songza. There's a shot before Songza. It's a gray interface. It's
actually called charte.net.
Oh, I can't find that version of the MP3 anymore.
Yeah. Huh.
You can find Tim. What's Tim's last name? Amy Cuney and Tim, the fellow she wrote the song with.
Yeah.
You can find their version of it online. It was in One Tree Hill. It was the opening song for one of their episodes. But not that exact page. So yeah, that will forever be a question mark, I guess.
Yeah, or an even more coincidental was that the version of Tennessee Stud that Megan posted for me was done by a musician who only had that video online for like 3 days.
Yeah.
It just so coincidentally fell on those 3 days when I asked her for that. Because if you go on YouTube looking for covers of Tennessee Stud, the first 10 pages are all guys, and there happened to be one girl singing it, and she found it, and then when we reached out to her after the movie was made, she said, "Oh my God, that we had that online for a couple days, had 40 hits. Like that's crazy."
And they took it down.
And then they
Yeah.
took it down.
Yeah, because people are going to start
Right.
back and forth through that
Right.
through the internet. The next one is that seems to come up on a couple sites is this young lady who you had on your production blog.
Yeah.
Because
that?
the story,
This girl we met in an airport.
yeah,
that
because
years
they're
ago?
saying that
Oh.
she was the kind of the inspiration behind Megan, because her story is somewhat similar, model, horse farm, small town, and they're saying how she was kind of like the template for Megan. What do you guys have to say for that?
Because
I never met her.
because you have a certain taste in women.
Yeah.
Although Neve had never met her, I
Yeah.
took that picture of that
Yeah.
girl. That's funny. I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's actually shown up on a couple sites. Like before we did this interview, I did some research, went to a couple sites who were like, really hardcore questioning the validity, and these
Right.
are some of the lines that people are drawing. And I just wanted to kind of bring these to you guys and say, is this true? Because
That's incredible. I mean, I'm glad that people are doing such incredible due diligence.
people are actually taking your sites that they see in the film, and they're actually putting them in the what's called the Internet Time Machine, and kind of rolling them back and trying to find all this stuff.
can
that's,
do that?
Yeah, because what happens is there are sites that back up certain parts of the internet.
Huh.
So they're using that to kind of scale everything back and go back and say, okay, that's what happened with the site with the
Songs,
MP3. They were trying to find
right,
where
sure.
it was hosted.
Right. Fair enough.
So
I mean, yeah. I mean, we can certainly back up our side of things with my Gmail. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got the entire correspondence saved in Gmail. It's dated with the G chats. You can look, you can read through it. The entire thing reads like a novel.
yeah,
I mean, it's all there, and we're actually thinking once things settle down, we'd like to almost publish a
That
book
would-
of
that'd
the
be
story.
awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
like a companion piece almost. Like you get the DVD and you get like a book with all the Gmail chats and
Or
all that.
maybe putting it all online for people to look through and analyze. And
Yeah. Wait till you see the DVD bonus features. I mean, these will probably answer a lot of questions of people who think that it could have been written. Because once you see what's bonus, there's no way we're that smart to have written all the layers of this thing that Angela created.
yeah, it's fascinating to see how people have created such convincing arguments as to why the movie didn't happen or is fake.
Yeah,
And I read these articles and I think, wow, that's convincing.
yeah,
And I'm the one who really lived it. It's so strange because if you want to believe something, you
Yeah.
believe it. And
Yeah.
I could tell you that's true because that happened to me.
yeah.
And so for people who don't want to believe the movie's true, sure, find a 1,000 reasons why it's not true.
Yeah.
Go for it. But it doesn't change that the reality is that it is true.
Right.
Yes.
So for us, it's sort of a strange and pointless argument.
Yeah, but you also have to look on the other side. It's
Right.
kind of great that people are like this fascinated
Right.
with your film, and
Yeah,
they're,
that's cool.
they're basically turning into their own kind of virtual, like alternate reality game that never even existed, trying to track down your footprints. So I would be a little bit worried about them finding out this stuff.
Yeah, you
I
really
don't
have to
know.
watch out what you put online.
That's true. It really makes you think.
Because the internet's more of a pen than a pencil, so you can find almost anything.
It's a
And you can
brand.
take it
It's
down,
like-
but it's still out. It's
Yeah.
a fossil.
Time machine.
The coolest thing that's popped up on the internet was a remix trailer of the Catfish trailer starring Neve and Snooki from Jersey,
Jersey
Shore.
Shore.
Yeah. So it's like meet Neve. He
Shot
fell in-
for shot.
Yeah. Like he met Snooki on the internet. They fell in love. And then they cut in all these shots. It's really good. It's on Funny or Die. You should check it out.
I'm definitely.
Yeah, check that out.
I have to admit, I'm a Jersey Shore fan.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's my dark secret. Well, I hope people watch this film, and I hope people watch this video, and they're as convinced as I am now that Catfish is real, and it's a
Yeah.
great film, and I think everybody should check it out. And I think don't take that first trailer to heart. It's a lot different, and I did a review of it, and what I tried to tell people, and I tried to be very, very careful because I didn't want to spoil anything. It's a surprise, and it surprises you, and it's a good surprise. And it's not what you think it is,
Thanks.
but it's even better.
Wow.
It's great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
I mean, we had a young lady who's here for the second time seeing it. She was at the free promotional screening.
Wow.
She came back with her brother to see it again.
Great. That's the best compliment you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of everybody in this movie.
Yeah.
Because we all live our lives on a computer screen, and that's sort of what the movie's about is looking at a computer screen and being able to consciously separate yourself from the screen.
Yeah.
And hopefully at the end of the day, people leave this movie and they say, "Wow, for every minute that I'm spending online, I should be spending that much more time with my friends and my family. So I guess that's sort of the hopeful message of the movie is just like invest more time into your real life, because that's at the end of the day the only people you can count on are the ones closest to you.
I thought my comment on it was I thought it should be mandatory watching for anybody going to engage in an internet relationship. Like they should have to have a copy of Catfish next to Facebook, watch that, and then decide if they're going to email that
Right.
person.
Or before you join Facebook, there should be a quiz on the movie Catfish, and you should answer a number of questions. And if you answer correctly, then you can start a profile.
There's
Okay.
a bug.
There is a bug.
Well, thank you guys very much for
Pleasure,
the
man.
interview.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.